lot of people are stuck in that awkward middle ground. You've got decent stats, maybe you have a few million in the bank, and you might be sick of grinding green dragons or doing the same boring slayer task for the 100th time. You want to make some real money, but everything profitable seems to be locked behind some requirements you don't have yet. Let's talk about 5 mid-game bosses that actually teach you PvM mechanics while filling your bank. No tick perfect switches, no billion GP gear, just solid, consistent profit that you can start making today. I want to congratulate this person for winning the bond giveaway. Either reply to my message with your RSN or send me a message on Instagram or TikTok. If you want a chance to win the next bond giveaway, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video and comment anything you want down below. Maybe let me know your favorite mid-game boss. Before we jump into the bosses, let's talk about what mid-game actually means because everyone has a different definition. For this video, I'm going to assume that you have 70 plus in your combat stats, attack, strength, defense, range and magic, 43 prayer minimum for protection prayers, 70 prayer ideally for piety or other offensive prayers. If you've got these stats, then that's good enough. But higher is obviously better. Every level makes things more forgiving, but you don't need 90s across the board to start. For gear, you don't need full Bandos, Armadillo, you don't even need full Barrows. Here's what's totally viable. For melee, get a fighter's torso with obsidian legs and a whip works fine. For range, black dragonhide and a rune crossbow or better. And for magic, mystic armor and an Iron staff or a trident if you've got it. Pair that with these 3 essentials: Ava's device, fire cape, god cloaks, and ideally Barrows gloves from Recipe for Disaster. If you have these, I would say you're definitely ready to start. One thing I think people don't talk about enough is how much you're going to die. You're gonna mess up mechanics, you're gonna waste supplies on your first few attempts. That's not failure, that's learning. The bosses on this list are forgiving enough that even with mistakes you'll still profit. But more importantly, they teach you skills that carry over to literally every other boss in the game. Prayer management, dodging ground attacks, gear switching, inventory management, all of that becomes second nature after camping these bosses for a while. We're starting with arguably the easiest boss on this list, and that's Sarachnis. This boss is the perfect introduction to bossing for one simple reason. It's pretty hard to die here if you're paying even a little bit of attention. There are technically no requirements. There's no quest requirement, no hard stat gates. You can literally walk into the dungeon and start fighting. That said, I'd recommend a way to teleport to Hosidius. For the profit, you're looking at about 900k to 1.2 million GP per hour, depending on your gear and how efficiently you're killing it. The drops are mostly noted resources and alchables. Nothing insane, but it does add up fast. You'll also get a decent amount of elite clue scrolls, which can be fun if you're into that. The uniques aren't worth a ton anymore, but the cudgel still goes for a decent amount. This boss teaches you the absolute fundamentals: prayer switching, reading boss animations, managing inventory during a fight, all the basics you need before moving on to harder content. Plus, it's genuinely chill. You can camp this boss for hours without burning out. Alright, time to step it up a notch. Let's talk about the moons of Peril. You'll need to complete the perilous moons, which also serves as a tutorial for the encounter. The quest requirements are pretty mild, but expect to spend maybe an hour getting through it. For stats, I'd recommend 75 attack for the Zamorakian Hasta, and 75 defense for Barrows armor. You can do it with lower stats, but these make it way more comfortable. The Hasta is the secret sauce. It can use all 3 attack styles: stab, crush, and slash. Each of the 3 moon bosses is weak to a different style. Instead of bringing 3 different weapons and doing weapon switches, you just bring one Hasta and change its attack style. Way simpler, way more inventory space for food and potions. You'll fight all 3 moons in a sequence. Each one has different mechanics. The Blood Moon drains your stats and spawns blood minions. Kill the minions fast and keep your offensive prayers up. You're looking at 2 million GP per hour. Maybe more if you're efficient. The regular loot is just okay. Some supplies and alchables, but the real money comes from the potential uniques. You can land on the weapon or pieces of the Eclipse moon armor. The moons teach you something critical: combat style switching and mechanic adaptation. Every boss requires a different approach, and you need to adjust your strategy on the fly. This is exactly the kind of skill you need for raids and high level PvM. Plus, the 0 supply cost means you're always making profit even on bad RNG days. Now we're getting into something completely different. Let's talk about the Royal Titans, the Ice King and the Fire Queen. Here's what makes this accessible. There are no quest requirements. You can literally walk into the Asgardian Ice Dungeon and start fighting right now. That said, you'll want solid combat stats. 75 plus in melee or ranged is recommended, along with decent magic for dealing with the elemental mechanics. This boss teaches you something most other mid-game content doesn't: duo boss mechanics and team coordination. You can do this solo, but doing it in a duo with a friend, if you have one of those, is more fun and you don't share loot. Each player gets their own loot from both bosses. There's literally zero downside to bringing a friend. If you can't find someone to go with, solo is totally viable, it's just slower. You're fighting two bosses at the same time. When the bosses are far away from you, attack with range. When you can reach them in a melee distance, switch to melee for higher DPS. The bosses spawn elemental attacks. You can one-shot the opposing element. Ice Guardians die instantly to fire spells, and Fire Guardians die instantly to ice spells. So bring some basic elemental runes and it will save you so much time and damage. Once you get both bosses low on health, they enrage. They'll start doing a charge attack where they slam the ground 3 times. When this happens, you'll see a safe spot marked on the arena. Just run to it and you'll avoid all the damage. Miss it and you'll be taking some big hits. After the charge attack, it's just a DPS race to finish them off. The regular loot at Royal Titans is actually really solid. Noted resources, alchables, and consistent drops that add up to about 1.5 to 2 million GP per hour. On top of the scrolls, there are some other decent uniques worth a few million each, so you're always rolling for valuable drops. The Royal Titans teach you multi-target management, elemental mechanics, positioning during enraged phases, and team coordination. Plus, it's just a really fun fight. The dual boss mechanic keeps things interesting and you're always engaged. If the previous bosses were about building skills, the Gauntlet is about testing them. You need to complete Song of the Elves. This quest has some of the highest requirements in the game, but if you've done it, you have access to one of the best training grounds in OSRS. For stats based, 75s in combat stats will get you through, but higher is always better. You'll also want 70 prayer for offensive prayers. This boss is unique because it's completely self-sufficient. You don't bring any gear or supplies. Everything, weapons, armor, food, and potions is all made inside the Gauntlet from resources you gather. This means 0 GP investment. Every single reward is pure profit. The Gauntlet definitely has a learning curve. You have a time limit to gather resources. The boss has multiple mechanics. Floor tiles that damage you if you stand on them for too long, prayer disabling attacks, style switching that requires you to pray accordingly, and tornado attacks you need to avoid. It can be a lot. Your first few attempts will definitely be you learning it. But the beautiful thing is the normal Gauntlet, not corrupted, gives you way more time and the boss hits softer. It's literally designed as a training mode. The normal Gauntlet isn't gonna make you rich quickly. The drop rates for the valuable items are much lower than the corrupted Gauntlet. The regular loot is modest, maybe 50 to 100k per completion. Nothing amazing compared to other bosses on this list, but the reason you should do it is because once you can consistently complete the normal Gauntlet, you're ready for the corrupted Gauntlet. And this version is one of the best money makers in the entire game. Around 4 to 5 million GP per hour with a chance of an enhanced seed drop, worth a lot of GP. The normal Gauntlet is your training wheels. You practice the mechanics, you learn the tile patterns, and you get comfortable with the boss's attack rotations. Then you graduate to corrupted and start printing money. The boss teaches you everything: resource management, time management, prayer flicking, movement and positioning, and staying calm when everything goes wrong. If you can do corrupted Gauntlet consistently, you can learn to do any content in this game. Let's circle back to something I love talking about: Barrows. You might be thinking, Barrows, isn't that like everyone's first boss? But there's a reason it's been a staple moneymaker for literal years. The requirements are technically just Priest in Peril to access Mauritania, but you'll want the Mauritania hard diary completed if possible. This increases your rune drops by 25%, which is a massive profit increase. Since Jagex added elemental weaknesses to the Barrows brothers, they're all now weak to air spells. This means you don't need an expensive weapon anymore. A basic air staff with death runes for wind blast absolutely shreds them. Your kill times are faster than ever and your supply cost is minimal. Each Barrows brother has a different combat style. Just pray against their style and blast them with air spells. You can use the strange lockpick from Hallowed Sepulchre if you have it. This item lets you bypass all doors in the tunnel, including puzzle doors. This is a massive time save. You're looking at about 1 million GP per hour depending on your speed and diary completion. But the kicker is you'll see a unique drop roughly once per hour on average. The constant dopamine hits keep you going. Barrows is the ultimate, I need consistent money and I don't want to think hard at all. You can do it while watching Netflix, you can do it with mediocre gear, you can even do it on mobile, you can do it with low stats, and you'll still profit. It's not the highest GP on this list, and it's not even really considered a mid-game boss, but it's the most reliable and least stressful. Sometimes when you want to chill and not do Zulrah or Vorkath, that's exactly what you need. The thing is, the first few attempts of any of these bosses will feel overwhelming. You'll die, you'll waste supplies, and you might even wonder if you're even good enough. That's normal, that's how it's supposed to happen. The difference between players who succeed at PvM and the players who give up is simple. The successful ones kept trying until they hit a big ticket item. Your 50th Royal Titans kill will look completely different from your 5th. Your mechanics will be cleaner, your supply usage will be better, and your profit will be way higher. Just go try bossing, even if it's just for 10 kills. It doesn't need to be 50, 100 kills, just 10. After 10 kills, you'll have a feel whether you enjoy the boss or you want to try a different one. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to enter the Bond giveaway. There's a link in the description if you want to join the Discord community. Tap the video on screen to see a complete range gear progression. I hope you're having a good day, and until the next one, peace.